Over the course of the semester, we have been introduced to many targets. Of these targets, I have picked 10 to show you how I have made improvement. Here they are. For my first artifact, I would like to introduce my MME Essay 3 from our Courage unit. The target that I would like to focus on right now is the W1G explanation. To get a 4 for the standard, I had to be able to give explanations that provide context for details, connects details to evidence, and connects evidence to claim, as well as a close reading for subtle language using details. For this standard, I got a 2 because the evidence I provided did not connect back to my claim in any way. My claim, which is underlined in orange, states that schools should not offer incentives for high test scores. The next sentence, underlined in blue, is an explanation that has no relativity to my claim. That states, furthermore, teachers expect you to fulfill your responsibility as a student to be responsible with your work and do well to move through grade levels. Moving through grade levels means you are performing to the expected level. I strayed away from my claim here by not including anything about the downfall of incentives. I made it possible for the reader to think that a student can make it through grade levels even with the help of incentives, which is not what is intended. The next sentence underlined in red is another explanation to which I failed to connect back to my claim. In this paragraph, my focus was work and that no one needs incentives to do well. It should just be something that people strive for. To refer this detail back to my claim would not work at all because the claim of teachers and the details of work have nothing to do with each other, therefore my explanation was weak. What I would like to introduce now is my artifact number 2, which is my expository essay from the Transcendence unit. The standard I would like to focus on now is W2C for organization. For this standard, one of the attributes to get a 4 is to have clear and engaging headlines. I unfortunately got 2.5 in the standard because I failed to do so by setting my headlines apart from my paragraphs. I touched up this standard so my headings looked like headings and so they were clear. What I did to improve on the specific standard was to choose my headings and pull them out of my paragraph to stand alone and almost give an overview of what the paragraph is about. I grew from this standard because I now understand fully how to use headlines and make them look clear and important. My next artifact still features my expository essay from the Transcendent unit, except this standard I would like to focus on W2J, formal tone. An expository essay is written strictly in formal tone, which is somewhat what I did, but use the words you a few times. To fix this, I rewrote the sentences that had the word you in it to where now the word you is non-existent. I didn't turn this paper back in, but I still made the changes anyway for myself to know and practice not to use informal slang in an expository essay. This shows growth because instead of leaving it the way it was before, I'm taking the time to fix it and learn from my mistakes to not do it again in the future. For my artifact number 4, which is going to be my last time referring back to my expository essay from the Transcendence unit, I would like to focus on W2G, my media support. I am really proud of my media support for this target because since I've been in yearbook since last year, I feel like I'm more used to the concept of it and its importance. While we were working on this essay in class, I helped people out with the standard because they weren't completely positive what to do and what the purpose was, and it made me feel good that people could come to me and ask for help. This is an important thing to be able to master because being able to pair writing with a picture helps the reader feel like they're more connected to the story and can actually visualize it. I plan to use this standard as much as I can in my writing to help strengthen it. My next artifact has to do with determining claim from our Courage unit, and the standard is R12, determining claim. As you can see in my first worksheet, I didn't pull much information away from the text. Obviously, there must have been more ethics, feelings, and logic in the piece of writing I was examining, but I settled for the bare minimum. In my next worksheet, I improved by making my claims more specific, although I still lack in my ethos, logos, and pathos. To improve, I reread text and did more in-depth reading, which showed through when I did the same activity again. I was able to pull out much more logos, ethos, and pathos than previously, and I was able to state a more thorough explanation about how the claims relate to one another. I pulled out many more key details with the explanation of why they are the most important than just being broad. I improved significantly by caring more and just trying harder. For my sixth artifact, I'd like to bring out my summative essay from the Courage unit. I specifically want to talk about my counterclaim, which is standard W1C, so I cut my counterclaim out of the paper to talk about it. Out of all the papers I've written this year, I really like this counterclaim in this specific essay. The talk of homosexuals marrying is very controversial, but I feel like I brought a strong claim from the opposing view and crushed it with stronger details from my point of view. I use specific language and feel like this paragraph is very strong overall. The artifact here is from the MME Essay 2 from our Courage unit. The standard I'd like to talk about is L2A for positives. This paper was about parents being allowed to have access to their child's PowerSchool account. I really like my use of a positive here. Instead of just saying that the parents want their kids to do their best, I added in that parents are the ones that care the most. That way, both statements can tie together and go deeper than just a surface statement. I will continue to use positives in context such as this and in abstract writing to help build my understanding of them. For my ninth artifact, I would like to use my Transcendence novel project from the Transcendent unit on the color purple. The standard I like to focus on is really just the overall project itself. For the project at the end of the book, my group and I chose to do the personal interview with Celie herself. We did not follow most of the guidelines because we assumed the target was something that it wasn't. When I got my grade back, it was not pleasing to me, therefore I decided to redo the project by myself by writing poems about Celie's growth. I was really proud of my work here because I felt like it was one of my strongest yet, with the quotes I pulled from the book to make into a poem. I thought I went deep into her feelings and brought out some of who she was and who she became. From the moment I finished, I knew I did well, and it made me feel even better to know that it was posted to the website to be used as an example for future years. For my last artifact, I would like to bring up my work habits. Throughout the semester, I would say my attitude has changed greatly. In the very beginning of the year, I was proficient in my participation, but for me, inadequate in work completion. As time passed, I tried to focus better and try to do better as well, which ended up paying off. I brought my participation grade up to a 4 and my work completion up to a 3.5. To do this, I tried paying better attention in class and engaging myself in whole group discussions. Not only that, but I created a schedule for myself to follow for homework, which has helped me tremendously to get it all done. For my last artifact, I would like to compare the hooks between my MME4 essay and summative essay, both in the Courage unit. In my MME essay 4, my hook was flat and unengaging. There was no descriptive words, and I didn't try to use any pathos in my hook, which didn't capture any attention. In my summative essay, I tried better to make my hook something worth reading. Since the topic of love is quite exhilarating, I decided to start off my paper with that and allow the reader to fall into it. I'm happy with how my hooks differ from then and now, but in a good way. All of these artifacts that I have shown, I have made great improvement on, which will in turn benefit me greatly in college as well as my career. Since I want to be an English teacher, it is vital that I know and can master all of these standards because not only will I need to know them for myself, I have to teach these to other kids as well, and I try and give them the best education as I possibly can. Although this semester is ending, not only will I continue to try and learn and improve on the standards that we have learned in class, but in the standards I will learn in college, I will try to improve on as well. I want to try and be the best I can possibly be in the profession I chose.